Hello, students, and welcome to Day 3 of our Colgan Creek Bioassessment. Today, we will be studying and looking at the different aquatic macroinvertebrates that are in Colgan Creek. The first thing that you will need is this data collection worksheet so that you can record the number of the aquatic macroinvertebrates, also known as AMIs. The title of this worksheet is Bioassessment Data Worksheet and is on this picture here. You will also need the key to help you fill in some of the missing pieces of information that you need. The tools and materials that we'll need today are these 3 keys to identify the sensitive, intermediate, and tolerant AMIs in the creek. These can be found in the packet along with your data collection worksheets that was mailed home to you. In addition to the worksheets in your packet, we'll need an ice cube tray to separate out the AMIs. We will need these tools and materials to extract the AMIs from our bucket sample. We'll need a bucket to be putting our AMI sample in. We'll need gloves while we're collecting our sample at the creek. And finally, we need this D-net to help extract the AMIs from Colgan Creek. We're going to hear more from Steve and Stephanie now about the process of getting started with collecting our AMI sample.
All right, well we are here at Colgan Creek and we have collected our sample here, and we do that with this here, which is called a D-net, as you can see, shaped like a D, or a kick net. And what we do, we place that on the bottom of the stream. We agitate the gravels in the stream bed upstream, and then the flow of the water will push the bugs into the net. And then we kind of wash the sample down and we transfer it into our trays, and then we identify them here.
Can you tell the students a little bit about the special permit that you have to hold to do this?
Yeah, so I have what's called a scientific collecting permit from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. So basically, I had to inform them that we would be out here today. So basically, everything within a creek is kind of owned by the state of California and owned by the people of California. So we need to get a permit to be able to sample the bugs or fish or anything like that, and then we're gonna ID these bugs and we're gonna put them in the creek after we're all done. So we're just gonna kind of use them for a little bit to tell us about the health of the creek, and then we will let them go at the end.
Awesome, thank you.
Riddick. Okay, so here we're looking at Steve Brady, and he is pulling our biological sample of aquatic macroinvertebrates and maybe a few other goodies along the way. He's just randomly sampling the creek by disturbing the substrate upstream of his net. He's making sure to get all the different substrate pieces kind of washed off with his hands there. When he does that, the aquatic macroinvertebrates let go, and then the flow carries them into the net. Look. So we call that scrubbing. He's scrubbing those rocks.
Scrubbing the substrate to get the bugs to come out and float into the net.
And we do this for a certain length of time, for a certain area on the bottom.
2 minutes.
2 minutes on the bottom of this riffle. And then we'll see what we get. Have a conversation with those creatures. Okay, and here we are along Colgan Creek with our team. Let's meet them.
Oh, hi, this is Miss Brown. Hi, this is Miss Ann.
Hi, I'm Miss Fleischer.
Hi, I'm Steve Brady with the City of Santa Rosa.
And Miss Riddick is on camera duty.
Hi, Stephanie here, back alongside Colgan Creek with your team conducting your bioassessment. We're here today to have a conversation with the aquatic macroinvertebrates, the AMIs. You can see your team of scientists here, and they are just simply right now studying the sample that's in their bucket. So let's stop. Let's have you guys actually do what, yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's the team, and what they're doing right now to start with is they're just looking at their sample so that the creatures that are in there can move around without them manipulating the sample. And then after a little bit, they'll start to see the aquatic macroinvertebrates, and they'll start pulling them out of that larger bucket and into the ice cube tray. We'll give you an up-close look at what that's like.
We can see Miss M scooping around in there looking for more Amy's. Miss Lennox is doing the same. We're trying to get 100 different samples, 100 different counts of the Amy's in the creek. Over here we have Miss Brown and Miss M. Let's check out their samples.
So I'm not seeing a lot in here, but what I did was I used this and I kind of just scooped up the bottom, and then I put it in, and then there was stuff in there. So like there's like, that's a scud, that's a black fly larva right there. And then I'm actually taking water out of these because I don't want it to overflow, because I'm gonna put some more water in to see if I can find some more stuff, because I'm just not seeing, like when I look in here, I'm not seeing much. And I don't know if that's because like my eyes are not very good, or because everything's hiding in the bottom.
We have Miss M looking at her sample.
And I am on the same page as Miss Brown. My water's still a little murky, so it's kind of hard to see. And we don't want to shake it up too much, and then it gets more murky, so we have to be very careful.
And you'll see that I just showed that Miss M found a clam.
Yay!
So we have Miss Fleischer here, and she's looking at the sample.
Well, I pulled out some little teeny tiny things that I thought might be bugs, but I think Stephanie thinks they're seeds. So these are just plants. So I'm gonna put those back. They are not Amy's, but now I'm seeing something that might be. It looks a little like a worm or something. So I'm gonna leave that in that tray.
Miss Lennox found a snail. That is one of the things that you would find if you were down at the creek. So here we have a midge fly. You can see it swimming back and forth. And we know it's a midge fly based on its movement in the water. And if we pan over here to number 20, that's how we would find it on our key, is this midge fly larva. Miss Lennox and Miss Brown found several scud. You can see them swimming around in there. Looks like we have another midge fly too in there, possibly. We have several scud. So we found some aquatic worms.
Diverse.
There's one and two. We have one that's, oh my gosh, it's escaping.
Darn it.
And if we look, it's number 19 on our chart, which is aquatic worms. We also found some more scud. We're finding quite a few scud today. You can maybe see them swimming around. The little movement in there, those are the scuds. So we filled our trays, and now we're gonna start counting to see how many of each type of Amy we have in. This is one of our trays. You can see the little critters swimming around.
Yeah, mosquito
So what
larvae
is that?
too sometimes.
No,
They're bigger.
it wasn't.
What's a whatever?
Chironomid is a black fly.
Okay, so that's a
No,
black
it was a
Or
midge.
midge.
midge
I mean
fly.
midge.
Midge fly.
There.
We have a snail
Okay.
right here. Here we have that's a flatworm. You said, is that?
Well,
Yeah,
weird.
I think there's two. There's one
Okay,
down there
so
too.
two flatworms, and then this is a scud. One scud. Oh,
No,
there's
there's
another.
two
There's two
scuds.
scuds. Okay. Oh, and then here's another midge. That little guy's a midge.
I think there's only
That's a
one
midge
scud
right there.
in
We
there.
said, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that one's a wiggle around.
Yeah. Okay.
There's only one scud in there.
All right. And then there's another scud.
Just collecting our data, finding out how many of each
And
Amy
then
we have.
midge. Two. Two midges.
Two midges, and
And then over here there's a snail. And then here's a midge on the side. I think it's dead. And here's another midge down. Was that? No. Okay, never mind. Just one snail.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do we have over here?
Here are some of our Amy trays that we just counted. We are now going to fill out this worksheet from your Colgan Creek packet. It's called the Bioassessment Data Worksheet. We will share the data with you, but you'll need to fill in some pieces on your own. Please pause this video and make sure that you have it out. Start by filling out the top of the worksheet. The date we collected the sample was February 3rd, 2021. The stream was Colgan Creek, and we did one sample. Pause this video and record. Next, record the data for the sensitive, intermediate, and tolerant amines. We had no amines in the sensitive category 1 area. We had 4 flatworms, 22 midges, 3 black flies, 22 snails, 14 clams, 29 scuds, and 5 segmented worms. Pause this video and record the data. Now that we filled in the numbers of each Amy, let's fill in the second column for percent and abundance. Abundance is abbreviated with an A. Since we had 100 Amy sample, we counted 100 Amy's. Each number represents that percentage. So for example, if we had 22 midges, it would be 22%. Next, to find the abundance, based on the percentage, we're going to give it a letter. If it was rare, it is less than 5%. You would give it an R. If it was common, you would give it a C. This is 5 to 25%. And last, you would give it a D for dominant if it was more than 25% of the sample. Here's an example of what that might look like. We had 22 midges, so that's 22%. 22% falls in the range of 5 to 25%. That means that midges in our sample were common. We will give that a C. Please fill out categories 1, 2, and 3 for percent and abundance. You will be doing this on your own. Pause the video and record that data. Next, you are going to fill out the third column, which is the S. The S stands for our index score. This can be found on this table, which is the table of index scores. This is for each indicator group and abundance category. You do this based on your abundance. Was it rare, common, or dominant? Depending on if each category was rare, common, or dominant, and which category, sensitive, intermediate, or tolerant the Amy was, we are going to give it a number. For example, our midges were common. Looking at our table of index scores, common Amy's in the tolerant category would get a score of 1. So under the index score S, we're going to put a 1. Follow this and use the table of index scores for each Amy and give it an index score. Once you have recorded all of the data for the index score, add up the total number at the bottom for sum score. It is boxed with Sharpie where you should input that data. The last piece of data that we will record today is the biological index of water quality. We get this total number by adding the sum scores of categories 1, 2, and 3. Pause this video and record that data. Feel free to rewind this video and make sure that you captured all of the information, all of the data, and understand the data collection process of collecting the aquatic macroinvertebrate counts. Your teachers are here to help you if you need help. Congratulations on completing day 3 of the Colgan Creek Bioassessment. We will see you all on Thursday to continue our AMY discussion.